Alright, guys. As you may be able to hear, let's change the lighting setting here. As you may be able to hear, I'm still pretty sick. It's been about 3-4 days now. And I'm gonna make myself some tea. And while I do that, I'm gonna talk about the concept of desire. And I think the way a lot of these entries are gonna go is sometimes there'll be an entry that's just free flow, ideas flowing that are top of mind that I wanna just articulate and get out. And then sometimes the ideas might be thought about in advance, maybe journaled about before, circulating in my consciousness and brought out, regurgitated, it's a bad word, but expressed on camera. In this case, it's something that I've been thinking a lot about over the last few months, but definitely don't have it developed. That is the concept of desire. What do you want? Why do you want it? And oftentimes there's certain personalities, certain types of people, certain souls, they gravitate towards wanting more. They're not satisfied with what the current options are or what is generally accepted as enough on a societal level, on a community level. Just people around them are satisfied with X, but that just doesn't quench the thirst. It doesn't satisfy the hunger. It doesn't. It's not enough. You need more, and I feel like I fall into that category. The problem is, it's not a problem. I want to be cognizant of the words I use here. The reality is that desire will, for those people, most likely, will manifest in a variety of ways. And it's up to the carrier of that desire to channel it appropriately. And so that's where I feel like I've fallen. But anyways, that's my little intro. I'm going to make some tea. So bear with me as I make this tea. The water's warm. I'll wash my cup. Now, the tea that I like to make is a ginger. I love ginger. I've been eating it a lot, especially while I've been sick. Ginger, lemon, chamomile, and then some hot honey. That's the general gist of it. Turn the water on. So, desire, the wanting for more. That desire, I think people that have that desire simultaneously are a lot more predisposed to various forms of addiction. And the reason they become addicted is because they're searching for something outside of themselves that is going to give them some sort of feeling that might fulfill that desire. And, they keep aspiring or running towards something or seeking this external thing, and then they just need it more and more and more and more and more and more. And then reality is they're never going to be able to get it because it's outside of them. So I think that for those types of people, the people that want more out of life, they need to come down to the center and figure out what is it that they really want on an internal level. How can they get that from themselves? And I think that's the question I'm grasping with right now. It's like, what quality, what element is it that I'm seeking, that I'm yearning for so deeply that it almost like it's borderline palpable. It's like seeping out of me, but I haven't quite found the answer to what that desire is, or how to quench it, if that makes sense. Again, a lot of these thoughts are very raw. They're the early, they've been mildly massaged, but they haven't been molded yet. Not that they need to be molded, but and also my brain is a little foggy right now. I'm on a variety of medications that are, is this on? No, it's not even on. Now it's on. That are meant and said to what is it like when you can't drive a car? Yeah, that. So, and I'm just yapping out here. But as I make this tea, and as I express my thoughts, the main question that we ought to all be asking ourselves is, what do we desire? Why? Double check the why. Why is it that we desire it? Make sure that the desire that we have, that we are going to set foot on conquering, make sure that the desire is worthy of pursuit, and is actually beneficial and not harmful, and not going to bring us somewhere that we don't actually want to be. It isn't just shiny, but actually fulfills the soul spiritual elements of that desire. And then with the what, the why, and then I think you could ask how, right? So it's what do I want? Why do I want it? What do I want? What do I want? And ask ourselves, why do I want it? And then do that like reference, right? Back and forth. It might have a multiple back and forths of, okay, I want this thing, now why do I want it? And then depending on that answer, it might make me have to go back and reevaluate or redefine what it is that I want, right? And then you might have to go through this inner dialogue. What, why, and then now once the why is strong enough, once your why for what you want is strong enough, then you just ask yourself how. Because if the why is strong enough, you can bear any how. That's what they say. And so I'm still on the first question, what do I desire? Because I have a lot of desires that keep coming up, right? They pop up. The question is, okay, what's the true, real underlying desire? And what is that desire on a manifestable level, right? Because there's desire for inner peace, right? But like that's not some. I mean, that is a worthy pursuit in and of itself. Maybe, I'm also thinking how this, because I could see myself being the type of guy that just goes into the mountains and starts meditating and becomes a spiritual monk or spiritual master of some sort. But is that where my potential lies? And then there's those other real questions. So these are the thoughts I'm having in my head as I have been trying to get physically better for the last few days. I'm trying to allow this sickness to get through me, though I don't know if I'm doing the best job at that. That's where my brain is at. Now the question is, what do I desire? Concrete, natural first impulse, response. What do I desire? Okay. And what else do I desire? Like the natural, then the thought about answer. What do I desire? Okay, those answers, and then now that goes into why do I desire that? And the back and forth communication between that. Now, once the why is strong enough, how? And once you get to the how, if you have a strong enough why, you can conquer it. And I think the biggest struggle that I've had is the lack of trust with figuring out what it is that I want. Not figuring out, with trusting what it is that I want. And I think that I know what I want. I just need to get clear. I need to get clear and accept. Maybe I need to just accept the fact that those are the things I want. Anyways, if you are also contemplating these questions, thinking about life in a certain way, feel free to comment, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than honored to continue having this conversation one-on-one. Maybe we can keep each other accountable. Maybe we can touch base on how we are navigating this journey of figuring of desire, because especially for a man, desire is so powerful. And I know where a lot of us, and I'm no exception to the rule. I know where that desire can take us. Trust me, I know where that desire can take us. Now the question is, how do we channel that desire towards the things that are aligned with our infinite being, that are aligned with our potential, that are truthfully aligned with who we are? How do we allow that desire to get manifest only positivity? All right. I'm trying to make a lemon analogy here. I don't really quite have one. I guess we're all given a lemon. The question is, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to let it rot? Or are we going to make some lemonade? Cheesy, but I don't care. Let's get it. Like, follow, hit me up. Let's chat. Let's grow. Let's get better.